Right, it's got to be said this is possibly the video to watch if you want to know about small towns in Wales.
Yeah, watch the video.
Right then, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome, and we now officially have the silliness of the introduction out of the way. My name is Paul, I'm also called Knick-Knack. You possibly have seen my daily teasers floating past. If not, I'll have a list of them underneath that eye there. You've possibly also seen some of my movie reviews, which I'll also try and include in the little letter I there that you can suggested or in the suggested playlists. I also talk about TV shows I've been watching for the past few weeks, up to and including last night, Friday the 11th. I've been watching the reconstructed classic Doctor Who series, Galaxy 4, the William Hartnell series. I've been enjoying it so far, but I wanted to tell you about it, and I wanted more specifically to tell you about episode 3, Airlock. Episode 3, Airlock, follows on from last week's Trap of Steel, with Vicky, Maureen O'Brien, screaming her head off when she catches sight of a rill. She and the Doctor, William Hartnell, attempt to flee, only for the Doctor to make his way out of the ship, with Vicky being trapped as the doors, a set of iron bars, close down. The pair's only option is for the Doctor to try and sabotage the Rill's drilling machine and blackmail the creatures into releasing Vicky. He knows the machine is producing the ammonia the Rills need in their atmosphere. While he's telling Vicky this, the Chumblies come calling. It seems they want Vicky to visit the Rill commander. The commander has a story for them. Back on the driving ship, Stephen, Peter Purvis, is still held captive. While he sleeps, Margaret assigns a guard to him, another to rest, and orders a third to go on patrol. She wants to find out what the Doctor and Vicky and the Rills are up to, not realising that Stephen is not as sleepy as he seems. Back at the Rill ship, Vicky has been introduced to a commander who's chosen to keep himself out of sight and is communicating telepathically through one of the Chumblies. It seems the story the Dravins told the team of how they were attacked in space by the Rills isn't quite the full story. What's more, the other thing that the Dravins didn't tell Vicky and the Doctor and Stephen is that the Rills are happy to take the Dravins with them when they leave the planet. All the Rills need is a little bit of extra energy, something the Doctor is happy to supply as soon as he can connect the Rill ship to the TARDIS. It's only then that the Chumbly, watching the driving ship, contacts its masters. Stephen, it seems, is trapped in an airlock. Now, what did I make of this episode? What did I think? It has to be said, I think it's another good little episode. It's one that maintains the details of the recently animated reconstructions. The little we've seen of the TARDIS exterior is quite something to catch. The mottled effects. The internal walls of both the Rill and Dravin ships are gorgeous to look at. It's also something that does a sneaky little bit of reversal. Most stories, or at least most classic stories, in fact most of the recent ones as well, we expect a romantically heroic and quite possibly young Doctor to rescue the trapped damsel in distress, or at least inspire her to get out of the airlock under her own steam. I think that applies to most of the modern series, as I've already said. Airlock, on the other hand, is all about Stephen getting trapped in the titular airlock and getting rescued, or at least a rescue attempt being started by the Doctor and a female companion, Vicky. It's quite a contrast. The cliffhanger is going to be quite something, and it's quite a sign of the times, possibly. Vicky also does something of a more traditional Doctor Who job. She ends up getting captured by hideous aliens, the Rills. She ends up getting captured by hideous aliens and finding out that the hideous, horrible, green, slimy aliens are actually friendlier than they seem. Some things, in some senses, don't change. Image of the Fendal actually, not Image of the Fendal, the Leisure Hive turns out to have a similar kind of thing to it. The hideous, horrible aliens are actually a lot friendlier than the good-looking, apparently friendly aliens running the hive. So that's something worth noting. But it also leaves me wondering, where am I now? It leaves me mildly impressed with a story that I imagine by now, given William Hartnell's health, could have been a lot worse at this stage of the game. It isn't. It's a galloping good story that's going along to it's come to a nice cliffhanger and it's going towards what looks like it could be a great little ending. That's left me encouraged. It's left me encouraged that the last episode, The Exploding Planet, could well be a good one. I'll be watching that next Friday, Friday the 18th of March, and I'll have my written and audio reviews up by the 19th. I'd love it if you joined me, and I'll see you then. And remember, Airlock, on my star rating, gets 4 stars. I'll see you next week. Just as a fun word, just as a postscript, I've been chatting with an old friend of mine called Al over on Instagram, and he tells me that, to put it bluntly, Aberystwyth is lovely, Llandudno and Fishguard definitely ain't. If you're ever in Wales, you might want to check it out.